Robotaxis are coming. Waymo, Cruise, Mobileye, you name it. A bunch of companies in China, Baidu and others, are working on it aggressively. In some cases they're coming, in some cases they're already here. But is it too late for Tesla? Come on, man. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So I'm joined by my friend Randy Kirk, as I sometimes am. He is a madman. We call him the Riverside Strangler, I think is his nickname. Randy, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. And Riverside is 111 and smoky because of the line fire. So when you go out when you go outside right now, you think you're inside of a cigarette butt.
Wow, that's terrible. I was unaware it was that hot. We've had some pretty darn warm weather in Vancouver the last few days in the 80s, but today it's nice and cool off. It's a little bit under 70. It's just lovely. So, Randy, I have some genuinely terrible news. Auto Evolution apparently thinks that they can not go the way of the dinosaur and survive this one with takes as hot and wet as this. Tesla Robo Taxi might already be too late to the table. Is it going to bring anything of value? So, of course, what we're showing is Waymo, a vehicle they don't have, Zoox, a vehicle that they've been testing for a few years, and a concept of what a robotaxi could look like. But, although many people talk about autonomous driving as if it's something impossible, driverless cars are already here. Tesla's upcoming robotaxi unveiling on October 10th looks exciting, but it's unclear if it'll change the autonomous vehicle landscape. Agree or disagree, Randy Kirk?
Well, I just had Brian Wang on the other day, and Brian goes into this thing in such depth, and he says, you realize, Randy, that in China, it is a law, it is a rule. You must have a remote driver, one remote driver for every 3 vehicles that are out there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so all the vehicles that are on the roads right now that are autonomous in China have at least that many remote drivers. He says he believes that, like Cruise, who had remote drivers, I think it was 1.5 per vehicle, that he believes that Waymo also has remote drivers because he believes they'd have to have them in order to be successful.
That sounds like a jobs program.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, is Tesla too late? The addressable market is vast. How much of it is tapped so far?
Do you have enough zeros after the decimal point?
I might need to go to the store and have some more printed because we are just getting started, folks. Waymo is the most aggressive outside of China, and they're doing a lot of rides, like thousands a day. But compare that to the total number of rides between taxis and Uber and Lyft, before we even discuss the addressable market beyond that, beyond people who today are driving themselves because Uber and Lyft are too inconvenient or expensive. And we're going to need some more zeros after that decimal. There's a heated debate over its FSD software, I would agree, and whether this qualifies as autonomous driving. Well, today I would say it doesn't. It's a very capable driver assistance system. I'm still required to supervise, and I think that's the correct approach today with the build I have, 12.5.2. Tesla fans point to more than 1 billion miles of FSD usage, which no other AV company can match. The latest FSD variants have been praised as human-like, although they're still unable to drive the car on their own. From time to time, FSD will try to do something stupid, requiring the human to intervene. And others point out it's not actually autonomous because the driver needs to curate every FSD action, allowing it to So is it? I mean, this is ridiculous, right? Am I crazy here?
Yeah. So you and I have had this discussion a few times, and I have my version of it now that has been. I've listened to Larry, I've listened to Jeff Lutz, I've listened to Brian Wang, I've listened to all the different guys. And my sense right now is that nobody is going to have an 100% unsupervised vehicle in the next 18 months. But having said that, I think that there will be unsupervised Teslas in terms of a human in the driver's seat, but I believe there will still be some kind of remote driver. That doesn't mean one on one. It doesn't even mean one driver for 3 vehicles. It might be one driver for 10 vehicles or one driver for 20 vehicles. But there is going to be a remote individual that gets called either by the person in the car or gets called by the autonomous system because it doesn't know what to do, and the remote driver takes over. But I foresee a time, maybe 18 months out, where that person might now be remotely handling 200 vehicles or something.
So I would agree with all of that. I would say that 18 months is very, very quick. And if it worked perfectly today, you might still want 18 months before you implement it. Now, the FSD chip that's in your car is very powerful. It can do a lot of computation. But what I think is going to happen eventually is that it won't reach out to a human driver to get input. It'll reach out to Dojo to get input because Dojo has, and I think I've done my math correctly on this, more compute power. Is that correct? No, than in your car.
Oh, yeah, a lot more than the car.
Oh, it does. Oh, it does. Okay. And I mean, it's not even 1,000 times more powerful. It's like millions of times more powerful. So I think Dojo could be the remote driver. Not today, maybe not in 18 months, but that is the eventual goal, is when it gets itself in a tricky pickle, it reaches out to Dojo, which can analyze the previous minute that got us into where we are, all the driving data metrics, the footage as needed, and say, yeah, that's an unexpected construction zone that wasn't there. You know, they just put this up 15 minutes ago. You need to do a 3-point turn and go another way.
Yeah, and we know that the inference chip is predicting, making a plan a couple of seconds out. I don't know exactly how many seconds, but something on the order of a couple of seconds out. Maybe it's 5 seconds out. It's making a plan to not hit anything in particular, and then to go the right way, to make the right decisions as it gets closer and closer to real time. So to me, the inference chip would be able then to be connected to Dojo, as you're pointing out. Dojo, faster than any human, would be able to say, "Oh yeah, I see the problem," and then remotely help the car to respond to something that's unusual.
So here in Vancouver, BC, this is one of my last sessions being recorded here. There are a lot of roads that are 4 lanes, 2 in each direction. And from the left of your 2 lanes, you can make a left-hand turn. But it is not there is no green arrow. You have to just wait and find a spot to turn left there. So what happens is, both for humans and for me on FSD 12.5.2, is I'll be in the left lane and somebody 4 cars ahead will decide, I'm going to turn left at this light, and my lane comes to a dead stop. It'll get around them. It'll get into the right lane and get around them, just like all the other cars are doing with human drivers. And I was very impressed with that because these lanes are a little narrower than standard, and they're very busy, and there's pedestrians around. There's a lot to consider, and I've had it work correctly 100% of the time. So probably 10, 12 times out of 10 or 12 times. And it is pretty amazing. Currently, Auto Evolution says, the number of miles between interventions seems to be Tesla's preferred metric for FSD appraisal. I think I don't know what other metric you would use.
They've stated it. They've stated it out loud.
Yeah. According to the crowdsourced data portal Tesla FSD tracker, let me stop you right there. That's not useful. That's self-reported. That's going to have selection bias off the charts. The latest builds achieve about 134 miles between critical interventions, or 78 miles between all kinds of interventions. So all kinds would be a blinker or tapping the accelerator.
Right.
I have interventions way more often than that because on the highway, I know which lane I'd prefer to be in, and I intervene. Is that a problem with FSD? No, it's a problem with me. I've got my preferences, and I'm gonna express them. If I'm a mile and a half from the off ramp and the exit lane is wide open, I'm just gonna get over there now so I so I don't have to inconvenience anyone later. It's being polite. It's just good manners. According to the portal, critical interventions are safety related, including those needed to avoid an accident, going through a red light or stop sign, being on the wrong side of the road, or other unsafe actions. The other night, I'm staying with my friends Dawn and Renata here, and I took them out for their first ever experience with FSD,
Uh-huh.
and we gave it the treatment. First of all, it was dark, but also we ran it through construction zones, through weird places, and tested it to failure, to the point where it's on roads where it doesn't know what's going on. There's a construction zone and it's looking at it going, is this the road or the bike? Am I on the sidewalk now? Nope. Now you're in oncoming traffic. I'll go ahead and take it from here. But we got to see what the limits are currently. I wouldn't, if it was going to go out and do unsupervised drives, I would want it to have the ability to plan its route around tricky roads. Just skip them. Just skip them. When Ryan from the Kilowatts and Omar did their race through San Francisco, they tried to get the crews to go down Lombard Street, and it wouldn't. It parked a block away and said, "Come get in over here. I'm not doing it." And that's a solution. It's a fine solution.
I agree.
Is Tesla close to achieving full autonomy? Despite being bullish on the chances, the current state of affairs doesn't make me very optimistic. It's even stranger that Tesla doesn't seem more optimistic either. What? Recently, the AI team released an FSD roadmap, and nothing on it looked like it sees autonomous driving as possible, said the liar. You've seen that post on X, right?
Yes, I did.
That was very exciting. That was very exciting to me. So my question is, auto evolution, are they worth turning off the ad blocker? Because I'm going to argue maybe not.
Well, I don't know. It seems to me like it was better than a lot of articles that I read about Tesla. It seemed to be up to date. It seemed to have kind of a general understanding of the situation. And people on X, there's a lot of debate on X about every single thing in the world. And people on X that are real Tesla enthusiasts debate these very subjects all day long. So some people think it's a week away. Some people think it's 5 years away. I was just looking again at the latest from Cathie Wood, and Cathie Wood is still saying Robo Taxi revenue might be 2026 or 2027.
I think that's the most realistic thing I've heard Cathie Wood say in a long time, and I love her to bits. ARC is the only substantial holding I have outside of Tesla. I'm an ARC K, and I am down, but yes, but I still have faith. I think of Cathie as my smarter, slightly crazy friend who might just know something I don't. She knows a lot of things I don't. She might be right about them, and I'm excited to find out the extent to which that's true. I think there was one of the
a couple of thoughts that came up just over the last few days, Brian, since I've seen you, and one of those is there's a growing sense that the robotaxi network, at least it feels to me and to some others, like it should be started on 1011. That supervised ride hail on the app should begin immediately after the show. Yeah, maybe it's a month later, but whatever it is, that allowing owners of Tesla vehicles to turn on the app and start taking rides should happen as fast as humanly possible. Get the experience, get the knowledge of the things that the app can and can't do, find the mistakes, allow some people that feel like they want to make some actually money, and then maybe Tesla gives 100% of the revenue to the driver, so that it's more attractive to get out there and get those miles. Start to get the data from the vehicles when they're being used in that environment. And then maybe ask the drivers to try to respond as if they are in an automated environment and only intervene at the most critical, most horribly dangerous situation and let the car make its mistakes.
I will say that I don't think Tesla needs to be that generous with drivers. Even if they apply a normal split, there will be no shortage of crazy people like you and me who will jump at the opportunity to see something like this, test it out. I mean, I bought Starlink when it was the better than nothing beta, and they said, look, it might not be good. If you'd like to purchase it for full price, we will sell it to you. And I did. And I was happy to do it. I was excited when I got my invitation. So I think what you do is like what Uber and Lyft does, where they say, sign up. If you hit this target within this time frame, you get a bonus.
Oh, yes.
And that creates the real incentive, which is really get it out there, really get in, jump in both feet. We're going to see a lot of exciting stuff over the next month as 1010 approaches. And again, 10/10, it is also the rating of the event. It's going to be that good. So as a percentage, it's equal to 88. We just can't overlook that.
Yes.
And of course, a pair of 10s in Roman numerals would be Elon's favorite letter. So we can't overlook that either. XX. Yeah.
You're ahead
And
of me. You're just for once.
for once. And you know what? I would love to take that credit, but most of those jokes came from the comments. So I thank you, dear viewers out there, for making me look not just smarter, but a little bit funnier, at least in the eyes of Randy Kirk. Which is, he's got two of them. It counts. So, guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it, I beg of you. And everybody else, like, subscribe. You know what you're doing. Stay tuned and juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots. Yes, it's the robots I'm excited to hear from on or before or around or at 1010.